Reconnecting.
So, hey, it's Jim with Unrestricted Podcast, and with me today is Bob Horne. You know him online on YouTube better as Coach Bob 3. What's going on, dude?
Man, I'm just living the dream. When I get a phone call from a legendary retired disc jockey like you, I know my life is complete.
Yeah, legendary. I don't know about that. I've been accused of a lot of things, but probably infamous would be more appropriate. But anyway, so Bob and I go back a little ways. I don't know what, 40 years,
Yeah,
something.
man. I remember
Been a
playing
minute.
guitar with you at your place in 1980 something, probably
Five.
86, 85. Yeah, right in that
Yeah.
area.
So,
Yeah.
uh,
Crazy, man.
all the cool people have backgrounds in music, and
Yeah. This is true.
the really cool ones have backgrounds not just in music but in rock and roll,
That's right. That's right.
and so that's how we kind of got together. But
We get all these little lines on our faces. What happened, man?
yeah, every morning when I get up to shave, I wonder how that old man got in the house. It's frightening. The dog doesn't bark at him, so I guess he's here all the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Coach Bob 3, that's a pretty cool moniker. How did you obtain that?
Well, so I'll start with the Bob 3 first. When I was a boy, my mother called me Bobby 3 because I'm the third. And
Okay.
so being Bobby 3 my whole life, that was the Bob 3. And then about 10 years ago, after I retired from the Federal Aviation Administration, I started coaching a swim team. And then that's where the Coach Bob came in. And
Yes,
so,
boys and girls. She said the FAA.
yes, yes,
You
yes.
know, you know what a plane freak I am.
Right. Yeah. And I was a serious man in my day. Now I'm not. I don't get too wrapped up about anything. But back then, man, I was pretty serious about that stuff. I guess
Yeah,
you had to
sure.
be.
First,
But yeah,
so
and then started coaching. Doing the thing with the kids and
now
and
when you say coaching, you're coaching swimmers.
yep. I was
Okay,
coaching swim and track and doing a few other things. And I was even doing some motivational things, that sort of stuff. And so everybody started calling me coach and it stuck. And, so it's been something I never saw coming. It's been a great thing, but I never really saw myself as that. But I think it's what God created me to be.
sure, 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 sure. Well, you mentioned my guy, God, and
Yeah.
it's kind of how we got back together. I hadn't put eyes on you in a long, long time,
Yeah. Probably
and
30 years. Yeah.
lo and behold, one morning in church, I got tapped on the shoulder, and there's Coach Bob. Well, the part of the story you don't know is earlier that week, I had asked God to bless the podcast if it was really what I'm supposed to be doing. And I said, just send me people who can help. And here's Bob Horne, who's been doing YouTube videos for like 5 years and works with Can-Am. And that's another whole interview right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But you talk about seeing miracles in action. That's the craziest thing, and I'm just still every day. He sends folks that are either helpful, have insights, are supportive. Whatever needs to be done to keep me motivated to get unrestricted going, and hopefully at some point draw a crowd for Jesus.
That's
You know.
right. Well, I'm going to tell you that I truly believe, after, not getting into a bunch of details, but, I had a child that passed away and I was kind of in a dark place earlier this year. And then I started praying for God's working in my life again. It's like, when you're going through dark places and you've been there, sometimes you get that isolated feeling, he's there, but it's not because you feel it. You just know it. Right. And then all of a sudden it's like, God, I feel your presence. My grandchild's making noise in the other room.
All right.
But it's one of those things where I'd been praying, God, you know, show me what to do, show me where to go. And all of a sudden, your name just started showing up in my mind. I was thinking about you all the time, and then had a musician friend. Hey, man, have you talked to Jim? And I had your name mentioned 3 times in one day. That was on a
Wow.
Saturday. I get
Different
up,
people. Yeah.
yeah. And it's crazy. And then, and after not talking to you for 35 years, and I'm like, I wonder if Jim even remembers me. I mean, I remember him very well, but I don't know. You
Yeah,
don't look at yourself with great significance a lot of time. You go, okay, well, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But man, I sure hope I can cross paths with him again. He's such an awesome guy. And then I got up Sunday morning, went for my walk, and I told my wife, I said, look, there's a church downtown, and the service starts in 11 minutes. And I'm just going to go. Don't be mad at me. I'm not going to wait for the family. I feel God is telling me, go to church, Bob, and go now and go here. And so I just have to go. And
that's
when I
so
got
crazy.
there and when I looked up and you were 2 rows in front of me, man, crazy.
Unbelievable. It is.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's something that I have learned not to be surprised by. Um, when we put our trust and faith in the Lord and we ask for things uh, that are unselfish, sincere. My whole purpose for doing this was to bring praise and glory to His name, not me. I mean, I used to be in radio. I used to be a little something something, but I have never been that. You know, and the whole focus of this is to let people know that whatever you got going on, man, there's an answer, a great answer, and the answer is Jesus. And when I started this, I was going to do like, for those who don't know, Unrestricted is a podcast about how my faith helped me through recovery, treatment and recovery. Um, so when I started to do this, I said, yeah, I'm going to talk about 70% about my experience with cancer and throw in enough religion because I was afraid it would run people off to keep it legit for God, right? Before I got to episode 4, God made it very clear that the ratio was right. You just need to flip it. 70% me, 30% cancer. He's bigger than cancer, lots bigger. So that's kind of how all this began. And I know that we're going to talk some more. We'll have other chances to be together and do this. We've already gotten to about 8 minutes on this call. And we could sit here and talk for days. Um, but I want you to know, guys like Bob Horne, he left me a present when he left Valdosta, and everybody I've known in my life goes, "What? Sandwich, sandwich."
Sandwich. Yeah.
He
Everything
used
good
to.
is sandwich.
I said, "What's for lunch?" He said, "A sandwich,"
Well,
and I have used that the rest of my life. So every time there's a PB&J or a ham and cheese or something, sandwich.
sandwich.
And
Well, I have to say this, Jim. I do have to say this. I'm an avid podcast listener, and podcasts that impact my life, I put on a saved list. And when I go for walks, I always listen to these things. And they're about, when you add them all together, there's probably 45 minutes of them. And those things inspire me daily because there's a depth to them that speak to your heart. And 2 of the podcasts in that list are yours.
oh man,
And
I'm gonna.
so they're great. And
I'm in. I'm
it's
embarrassed.
it's wonderful. So you keep up the good work, brother, because I'm blown away with what you're doing.
Thank you for the roses. And we're going to talk about what Bob does too. Can-Am is so cool. I see him out on the road, and I just go, if I
Yeah.
was younger, if I was just a little bit younger, and they would send me one, yeah, I could do that. But it's pretty cool what he does, and his rides. Get on YouTube and look for Coach Bob 3. You'll be glad you did. It's a lot of fun. There's always a good message there, and very entertaining stuff. But this is the guy that's helping me do what I'm kind of dreaming of doing here. And I just wanted you to, it's an old friend of mine used to say, I like my friends to know each other, even if we don't like each other. But I felt like you needed to know Bob. And so find him on YouTube, and I'm sure that there's probably some other places too. But Coach Bob 3. Love you, buddy. Thank you so much. We're going to do this some more, okay?
I love you, brother. You are the best, man. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Peace out.
Bye.